Hello, soccer fans. Welcome on Ninja One Soccer today. Andy Petrillo, Oliver Platt, Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson. We have a big story to jump into right off the top of the show, and that is Canada Soccer has named their new General Secretary and CEO. It is Kevin Blue. He comes on over from Golf Canada. And gentlemen, he's already put out a video on social media about his appointment. Let's hear from the man himself.
Hi everyone, Kevin Blue here, just in the hotel in Ottawa. Honored to be named the new CEO and General Secretary of Canada Soccer. As you all know, there's a lot of opportunity on the horizon, but there's also several challenges that we will need to work through together. To that end, I today can make to you the following three commitments. The first is that I will work diligently to earn your trust. I'm a newcomer to the soccer community in Canada, and I look forward to meeting you, learning from you, hearing your input. Look forward to really working hard to earn your trust going forward. The second commitment I can make is that at Canada Soccer, we will look in the mirror and make the reforms necessary to be able to govern and operate our federation with the exemplary professionalism that is necessary for us to take advantage of upcoming opportunities and to solve some of our challenges that we have going on. And the third thing is that you can count on us to work extremely hard to unite all stakeholders behind the common objective of making sure that soccer in our country is growing and successful, and that means from grassroots all the way up through the national teams. So we've got a lot of work to do. Some major milestones are just around the corner, and it's time to get to work. Look forward to going on this journey with all of you. Thank you.
Speaking of getting to work, his official start date will be March 14th, gentlemen. So that'll be about a week before the men have that big game against Trinidad and Tobago, March 23rd. We'll dive into that in just a moment. But as I mentioned, comes on over from Golf Canada, was the chief sporting officer there, Wheels, since 2021. But what more do we know about Kevin Blue?
By the way, the walk and talk, that was pro. I feel like he's already at it. He's already working. He's already taking Canada Soccer in a new, better direction. This announcement doesn't come out of the blue. His name first came about a few weeks back. I do believe he was part of the final group of individuals who were put forward by Korn Ferry, the recruitment firm that was working alongside Canada Soccer and finding a new general secretary. So he was one of the finalists for the position. And over the last few weeks, the two sides have just been going through contract negotiations. But very quickly after Alison Walker stepped away, before she really started, Kevin Blue was right in the mix. Look, he seems an impressive individual, sporting background, fundraising background, ticks a lot of the boxes that you'd say, yeah, makes a whole lot of sense. Being general secretary, the fundraising element, how it works in the golf world, a little bit of a different target audience, different type of customer or person of interest in terms of the fundraising for soccer in this country than it is from a golf background. So that will be a little bit of a challenge. And he mentioned it in the three things that he outlined: bringing stakeholders together in this country, maybe not understanding the depths by which there's fragmentation amongst people, individuals across this country in Canadian soccer. He's going to need some help with that. So the business background is one that's good. Perhaps an outsider is what's required. He needs to be able to work with the stakeholders, like he said, across this country. The provinces, they have their own agenda. The men's and women's national teams, they don't still have a CBA. I'm not sure if they're still speaking or are speaking from the same hymn sheet as well. People like Canada Soccer Business, the domestic leagues, the MLS teams, grassroots across this country, the referees, it goes on and on and on. And there just seems to be a great divide. My worry is no matter how talented of an individual you may be, and Kevin Blue seems to be one of them, very talented individual, that this job is the most difficult one in Canadian sport right now. it is going to require much more than one individual to steer the ship in the right direction. It's exceptionally difficult. I wish him the best of luck. It could be a stroke of genius, him taking this job. Could be an outright disaster based upon the climate that he walks into right away. We'll see. Let's hope that things continue or move in the right direction. At least you know who the leader is, and then you can kind of take things forward. Now, I do give Canada Soccer credit. They did pivot quickly from Walker stepping away to bringing Kevin Blue in. So fingers crossed this all works out.
So now that we're all in a very cheery mood, Ollie, how are you feeling about this appointment?
Brightening my day there, Wheels. Look, I'm actually optimistic about the appointment itself. You know, Wheels is right about all of the challenges that are there, but I think this looks like a very qualified individual, the kind of profile that I would have kind of drawn up if you were to put together an ideal candidate for this position. I think you needed two primary things. One was someone who has experience in the commercial side of sport. You know, we know that at Canada Soccer, there's a need to both fundraise and increase those revenue streams and also manage all of the partnerships they have on the commercial side. And he seems to have that. I think, you know, just from doing some reading about him this morning, that seemed to be the primary responsibility at Stanford's in the role he was in there. And then you also want someone to balance that who has sports leadership, right? This is someone who's going to lead the search for a new head coach, someone who needs to be familiar with making sporting decisions and, you know, structures in sports organizations and how to create the right environment there. And obviously between the two roles at Golf Canada and at UC Davis, where he was the athletic director, there seems to be some good experience there too. So I'm encouraged by the appointment. Seems like he ticks most of the key boxes for me. I think whoever they went after and appointed to this role, like the big thing for me is we need someone who is going to have the courage to be able to make difficult decisions here. And they've got to be able to balance that with, you know, building bridges and rebuilding some of the partnerships that have been broken and the fragmentation that Wheels talked about. But I also think there's going to be a lot of decisions that need to be made here that aren't going to be popular with everyone. This is a role where you just cannot please everyone. I don't think you will be able to do that. And you need to have the courage to be able to make what you think is the right decision and not necessarily the decision that is going to go down well with certain people who may criticize you for it. So that is really what I'm going to, you know, judge whoever goes into this role on. I'll judge Kevin Blue on, and I hope he can be the person who leads us forward here, because there is so much opportunity in front of Canadian soccer as well as the challenges that exist.
And I agree with Wheels in terms of a lot of what you said, most of what you said, but specifically, I think one person trying to do this job, I think it's too much to ask. But what I will say, someone new coming in, someone fresh, someone who seems eager, that could go and change a group, that could maybe inspire whoever's already on the board, Canada Soccer in general. There's just been a lot of like a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Sometimes one individual coming in could just be that person to maybe give someone a new lease on life and some freshness, which I hope, again, but it's a tall task. There's a lot happening, but back in Kevin Blue, I like that he just came with a little freshness and you could see that he's eager. So we just hope for the best.
The stakeholders in the game have to want to work with him too, because a lot of what happens in Canadian soccer, people just throwing recklessly, you know, attacking one another or trying to bring one another down because they hope that it's going to be beneficial to their own party. We need to work together here. Another chance at this, you know, the CSA will have a chance to nominate new board members and a new president this spring as well. So there could be a change of leadership across the board. And based upon the way that things have gone, maybe that's required at this time. Fresh faces, new voices to come in, and people that will work with one another instead of just completely having individuals or parties, you know, with their goal is to separate and create chaos and create dysfunction. That cannot be the way forward anymore. So that's the climate he's walking into. Everyone trying to backstab one another. Good luck.
Well, here's the thing. He does have the big gig. We know this, but you're right. Everyone needs to be able to start pulling their weight. Everyone needs to stop with the mudslinging and try to figure out solutions now. But here's the thing. He does have a BA in psychology that could come into effect here from Stanford. And he was also the captain of their golf team. So he has these leadership captain qualities on top of everything else that you mentioned, and being the athletic director and being able to, you know, gain revenue, fundraising. This is all stuff that he has experience in. But there's also going to be a lot of bridge mending. So hopefully that psychology degree will come into effect here. The Canadian men has turned our attention. So as mentioned, he will start. Kevin Blue will start on March 14th. The men have that really big game against Trinidad and Tobago on March 23rd. That is the one and done game to qualify for Copa America.